So today we're doing kind of a live Q&A. If you've ever wanted to sit up next to me over coffee and ask me questions, your burning cues, this is what that video is going to be all about. And what I did recently, like 2 days ago, I went on Instagram and I shared on my story what questions you would ask me if we were hanging out over coffee. So here in this video, I've got 5 of your burning cues that I'm going to answer live. I don't have a script. I'm going to just kind of riff off of it and we'll see where the conversation takes us. I'm really excited about this video. And I guess now is as good a time as any to remind you that you can follow me on Instagram, where I'm popping in daily, checking in on the stories, answering your questions, and just sharing a little bit of the day-to-day of my life in real estate as a real estate agent selling here in Phoenix and Scottsdale, Arizona, and an agent who's also coaching agents across the US and Canada. Check me out on Instagram. I'd love to connect with you further there. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into these questions. We're going to have no fluff, just rapid fire. Let's go. So this question was so great, and it says, on the days that motivation has left you, what makes you work anyway? This is really interesting because in real estate, especially, like, you get in and you're filled with the fire, right? Like, you're excited to work, you're inspired, you're ready to go, energy is high. And you realize you have so much time and so many opportunities and so many ways you can build. But then you realize there's so much time and so many ways you can do this. And it's almost like the things you were most excited about become the biggest detriment to your forward movement. You begin to overanalyze every decision you make. You begin to question every step you make, and then overwhelm sets in and your momentum stops and you lose motivation. I went through that too as a real estate agent, and I've gone through that plenty of times throughout the last 10 years as a real estate agent, because if you didn't know, I'm still selling real estate, so I still struggle with this too. I recently heard this incredible quote that just struck me to the core, and it was, focus on the plan, not the feeling. I'm going to say that again. Focus on the plan, not the feeling. We cannot rely on motivation and inspiration to see us through. We have to focus on the plan to make sure that we are adhering to the step-by-step process that we've committed to, that we know is proven, that we know is going to work in order to see us through any market shift or any sticky situation that comes up in real estate. Now that begs the question, where's the plan? And in my first several years in real estate, I didn't have a plan. I was totally winging it. I was throwing stuff at the wall to see what would stick. And that quickly becomes like your biggest nightmare in real estate. It becomes a big challenge. And so that's why I got truly so obsessive and hyper fixated on creating a step-by-step plan that would help real estate agents thrive in any market. And that became my coaching program, the Market Authority Academy. So I'm just shamelessly going to plug here. And I know we're early on in this video. It's the first question, but I thought that was such a great question because that's literally what drives me to help support real estate agents who are struggling with that in the Market Authority Academy. So all the details, if you want to check that out, are below. You can book a time to speak with me to learn how we can help you iron out that plan so that you can really continue to maintain that momentum even when things get hard, even when things get a little sticky, because the only thing to see you through is sticking to the plan, not the feeling. Okay, so the other question that I got, or the next question rather, was what is your go-to when leads are slow? That's really interesting. So it depends on where you're starting from. For me, when leads are slow, I have the benefit of having a well-curated database. And I've been spending years and years in my real estate business really building a network of relationships from past clients, friends and family, and other top professionals, like people who could refer business. So whenever leads are slow, I always go back to the database because I am a referral-driven real estate agent. That's how we've built our business over the last 10 years. And when you build your business in that way, anytime things are slow, you just got to go shake the tree and see what opportunities come out. The conversion rate that we see with our database marketing plan is about 20%. So for every 100 people that you have in your database, you should be seeing somewhere between 15 and 20 deals per year in repeat and referral and direct business. Now, if you're not seeing that number of transaction coming through, then you need to know how to go in and shake the tree. And so my shake the tree activities, and it's like a weird analogy, but like let's go with it, are to do our ABC calls. So that means every year we are reaching out through the weeks, one letter of the alphabet per week. So imagine having like your list of people. You're going to sort the people alphabetically. You're going to reach out to one letter per week. One week you might have like 2 or 3 people to reach out to, and the next you might have 10. But the idea is to stay consistent with reaching out to your people and having meaningful conversations. Now, the other things that I'll do too are start to get really strategic on social media. And it's, kind of convenient because most of my database also follows me on social media because I've developed that strategy in my business. I'll go onto social media, I'll post on the stories, and we have a 3-post strategy on social media where we work to grow, convert, and nurture. And I'll start posting a lot of nurture and convert content to start getting conversations going in my direct messages that then lead to appointments, referrals, and new business. So reaching out to my database, getting a little bit of business on social media. As a last-ditch effort, I'm reaching out to other agents. I happen to live in a metro where there's a lot of referral back and forth, and we love to do business with other real estate agents who are wanting to connect their clients with the best referral agent in our area. And I want them to know that I'm that person. So I'm getting my list of referral partners in other cities and other regions, and I'm calling them up and seeing how they're doing, how I can support them, and if they have any clients headed our way, that we can help support too. So between those types of activities, shaking the tree, always we end up with a ton of clients. And this actually just recently happened with us in the last couple of weeks. In this last week alone, we got 6 new opportunities of repeat and referral clients coming into our business organically just by doing a couple of these off the cuff activities to get people into our pipeline, get conversations happening that lead to opportunities. Question number 3, where does most of your business come from? Today, most of my business overwhelmingly comes from referral from my database of past clients, current clients, friends, family, other professional relationships. That's exactly how I like it. I don't want to be on the hunt chasing clients. I want warm clients coming to me at this point in my business. And that was by design. That did not happen by accident. I work with a lot of agents who come to me in the Market Authority Academy who have been in the business for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and they haven't taken the time to develop that database for their business. So it's not there for me because I've been in the business for 10 years. It's there for me because I've spent the last 5 or 6 years really intentionally building a referral base in my real estate business. Prior to that, I did not have a big group of people. I knew like 30 people. My husband and we knew like 30 people getting into real estate. And at the end of our first year in real estate, we had sold like 11 or 12 transactions, and that was awesome. We were able to replace our corporate 9-to-5s that first year. And we ended that first year in real estate, like looking at each other thinking, how are we going to do that again? And we put the list together of all the people that we knew. And we ended up with about 30 contacts. And we realized really quickly that we needed to meet more people to have a more consistent, predictable clip of business. And so we used social media to do that. We used Instagram specifically, really intentionally to grow our brand and network, and then to take it a step further and actually communicate with people and develop relationships off of the app that would turn into clients for life. So that's a really great example of one of the systems that we built in our business was our client journey. We wanted, back then, we determined that we wanted to take every one new client and turn it into 5 referrals. That was a really intentional way of how we started treating our clients so that they understood how to refer us and were enthusiastically going to refer us for years to come. Okay, so question number 4, how do you set working hours and not break them? So we break our work hours all the time. I think one of the cool things about being in real estate is being spontaneous, right? We get to, on a whim, make up our own hours if a window of time opens up. When you become a real estate agent, you really have to let go of the control that we want to see in our time. You're not going to have a 9-to-5 schedule. You're just not. And you're not going to be able to fully step out of work 100% of the time when you want to. There have been plenty of times over the last 10 years where we were closing deals on our honeymoon, for example, in 2017, where we were traveling through Europe for weeks at a time and we're dealing with clients while we were overseas. And those are trade-offs that we were happy to make. Now, that being said, there are really specific boundaries that we have in place today. For example, if we have appointments that have to happen on the weekends, We try to keep it to 1 day of the weekend, right? So maybe just a Saturday versus the whole weekend. And if it's going to happen to where we do have appointments all weekend, you bet we're taking a day off during the week to spend more time with the kids if we've been away, right? So it's always a trade off and it's always a balance. There was a fantastic book that I read that really helped me wrap my mind around this concept. And the book is 168 Hours by Laura Vanderkamp. I think that is her name. I'll put the picture up here on the screen so you can see me. My awesome editor is going to put the picture up on the screen so you can see. This book is like one of my highest recommendations for people who are trying to understand how to honor your time and make the most of your time while maintaining balance and getting everything done. But you have so much time in a given day, you can decide what your boundaries look like on a day-to-day basis. Just because they don't look the same one week for another doesn't mean that you're failing. It just means that you're being very responsive to what your needs are in a given week and you're allowing yourself to pivot. Really great systems in your real estate business should allow you to flex to what is needed in a given day, not be so rigid that you can't make exceptions. Okay, so last question, and let me know if you like this video, by the way. This is kind of like a rapid fire Q&A, friendly, cozy meet over coffee type video. Not my usual stuff. Give me a like on this video, subscribe to this channel. Those are really important actions that you can take right now that take 2 seconds, not even. Hello. And that tells me that you like this content. So do me a favor, leave me a like, hit subscribe if you have not yet. That is going to let me know that you appreciate this content and maybe you want to see more of it in the future. And hey, if you're hearing a question that I'm not answering, or if you're thinking of a question rather that I'm not answering here, leave it in the comments and I'll jump in. I'm happy to have a conversation with you there to help give you some clarity and would love to see what's on your mind. Okay, so the last question for today. If you rewound the clock 10 years, would you still choose real estate? That's an interesting question. So when getting into real estate, I was at such a miserable point in life professionally. My husband, then boyfriend at the time, we were both in corporate finance. And it was in 2014. The economy was barely recovering after the worst recession that we had seen in almost 100 years. And millennials entering the job market were lucky to have any job. And we were the lucky ones. We had that corporate 9 to 5. We had health insurance benefits. We had the 401ks. Like we were pretty, we were in a really good position for being young professionals. But I hated it. I hated it so much. And I don't know what I hated so much about my job, but every day I was driving to work, I was crying because I was just miserable. And one day Bryce came home to me and he had a book for real estate. And he said, "Hey, I've got this idea. I've been thinking about it for a while. I want to sign up for real estate classes." And so he did. He signed up for night classes for real estate at the local community college because 10 years ago, you were not allowed to take your classes online. You had to take them in person. So he signs up for this night course and he comes home after his first class and he said, "Hey, that was a really cool class. I'm really excited about this and I'm starting to see a future for myself in real estate." And there was a mother-daughter team in there, a mother-daughter duo who were getting their licenses together. And he said, "What if you and I got our licenses together and we got into real estate?" I had never thought about real estate, and honestly, I thought real estate agents were a bunch of hacks. I lost my home in 2008 during the housing crisis when I was in high school. My family and I were extremely impacted by what happened with the housing crisis during those years. And so it was never really of interest to me, and I was just trying to find a way to change things up. And so when he offered for me to get into real estate with him, I said yes, not because I thought real estate was going to be a cool option for me professionally, but because I literally would have done anything to get out of my 9 to 5 situation. And so that's what we did. We started night classes. After about 3 months of taking those classes, he and I put our 2 weeks in. And that year, around Christmas of 2014, we left our 9 to 5s and went full-time real estate. And I had no idea the implications at the time of becoming a business owner. I didn't understand what was going to be required of us. I didn't understand how hard it was going to be. I didn't understand that the licensing classes taught us literally nothing that we needed to know to be successful. And somehow, through a lot of grit and resourcefulness, and honestly, having no backup plan because we had quit our full-time jobs together while we had car payments, while we had a mortgage, while we had our 4 rescue pups who needed to be fed. We had to figure it out, and we fell in love with it. So looking back, if I rewound the clock 10 years, knowing what I know now, I would choose real estate, but I would do it so differently. I would do it so differently by saving myself hundreds of thousands of dollars of wasted money in things that just were the wrong investment for our young, startup costs. I would save myself so many crying on the bathroom floor moments by knowing what strategies not to pour my heart into and instead knowing what to do instead. I would do it rolling back the clock, knowing what I would know now, I would do it a lot differently. And I would start with a plan. And so again, that's not to make this self-promotional, but that's what I would recommend you to do if you're in the same place, is to find some kind of a plan. Whether that's with me through coaching in the Market Authority Academy, or whether that's by aligning yourself with the right mentorship or getting in with the right team who actually has systems and is and cares and is intentional about how they're going to get you going. That's what is needed in those situations. And so again, that's what drives me so much in terms of like why I have this channel, sharing with you everything that I wish I knew when I got into real estate. And that's what drives me to create an even more proven, tactical, ready to implement coaching program in the Market Authority Academy. In the Market Authority Academy, we help real estate agents implement the 3 systems that they need for their real estate business to thrive. We focus on consistent lead generation and marketing. We focus on their $1 million client journey. So every client is treated like $1 million, and that leads to 5 referrals within the next 2 years of every client. We look to time and task management to make sure that you have clarity on how to manage your day-to-day, because I didn't know those things 10 years ago, and it cost me so much to do it on my own. And so that's what I want to help other real estate agents do. So yeah, I would just do it a lot differently. And this was a little bit of a cozy Q&A, right? But if you want a little bit of a spicy Q&A and you want to see what I really think about some things, why don't you leave a comment with those questions? We'll do another video coming up, and we'll answer your spicy questions when it comes to real estate, because your girl has some opinions after 10 years in the industry. But for now, if this really struck you, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment with a question that you would ask me if we were having coffee and you wanted to pick my brain about real estate. Thank you so much as always for tuning in. And until next time, keep on crushing it.